Hello guys, Brandon Carey here. And today we are going to continue playing through our adventures in Spyro Year of the Dragon. And when we last left off, we had just started the game doing, I think it was Sunny Villa is not the name of the level. It might actually be the name of the level, and the shield level. So we haven't gotten very far, but hopefully by the end of this stream we should be finished mostly with the first world. That is my goal. Oh, it is Sunny Villa. So we finished Sunny Villa. And like the next thing on our list is Cloud Spires. Let's take care of this. Should be a pretty basic level. As is Spyro MO, the first few levels tend to be fairly straightforward, and then it's only in the later ones where they start getting longer and more complicated. Alright.
The rhynocs have shut down our cloud generator, and I may never see a rainbow again.
It's a little cool how, like, this world is responsible for the weather in these forgotten worlds. So we have to help them get their cloud generator back online so they can get raining rainbows.
I could easily glide across here.
It's a weird comment, because technically you're flying. You should be able to glide or fly all over there if you're able to get off the ground. But I don't know how flight works. And let's move over here. Pretty basic Spyro standard.
The metal armor those enemies are wearing protects them from your dragon flame. If you hold down the charge button, you can defeat them with your charge attack.
Yep. And that shield means I can't charge, I can't flame them, so I have to ram them with my horns. It doesn't do any actual damage, it just throws me back. That's pretty cool. So I need to do this. And fly over their fan. Look, an egg. Since, like, there are, I think, literally 150 eggs in this game, they kind of do have to be a bit more generous with placing them in just locations where you can just pick them up. Which is good and a bad thing. Like the bright side of having only 64 orbs in Spyro 2 is that you felt like each one was earned. Although, like, here, the eggs are basically kind of scattered about, and they're not exactly hard to find. And it can feel like some are worth in quotes, worth more or less than others. Oh, right, gems. Get over here. Get all the gems. Don't let a gem go missing. Because we need all of them for the end game. Just like before, there's a secret that you can only unlock when you have 100% completion. So we need everything.
Well, well, if it isn't my favorite dragon. The Sorceress has put me in charge of guarding these bellows. However, I might look the other way if I was distracted. Counting gems. Oh, yes.
I remember...
Precious gems. Well then, Spyro, you may now use
I'm
the bellows.
fairly sure I mentioned this before in previous recordings. There is a YouTube series. I think it's called Useless Play or Useless Podcast or something, where two designers from Insomniac Games
Remember to get your longest.
went let's played the three PS2 Ratchet and Clank games, the original trilogy, and did a little dev commentary on top of that let's play. And one thing they mentioned is that up until about Ratchet 2, they frequently used gems as a gatekeeping device for progression, so you couldn't progress through levels or challenges unless you managed to get a number of gems you could pay money bags to do or to obtain.
Oh, you activated the bellows. Maybe I can get the cloud generator working again.
And they did the same thing with bolts in Ratchet and Clank for the first two games. And they realized in the transition from PS1 to PS2 that
The rhynocs must have been using
people
this thing to
don't
wall up the
typically
cloud
enjoy
generator.
having to pay to progress the story. That's not a fun mechanic. Which is why in Ratchet and Clank 3 and onward you don't see it. Because it ended up actually kind of cheapening the game a little bit. I find that very interesting from a design perspective. And you still see that here, like with Moneybags. His whole purpose is to gate the player by forcing to buy progress with gems.
Our sun has gone out. We can make a new one with our lava fusion cauldron and 3 sun seeds, but they keep burning out before we can get them in the pot. Step on the switch to get a fresh sun seed and keep flaming it until you get it into the pot.
Now, I remember this being a huge pain in the ass way back when I was a child. This challenge in particular. But I've done it a couple times. I've played this game several times in the past few years alone, and I've not had any significant trouble with it. It's not too complicated. Basically, if I don't flame the seed and make it progress, then it will burn out, and I have to get a new one. I just gotta do this 3 times to help them make their sun. This is a pretty basic challenge of just making sure you act fast enough. And I remember having a huge difficulty with this one. I don't remember, like, as a kid, I don't remember why that was. But now it's almost no trouble at all. And I wonder, like, 'cause I thought a lot with these PS1, PS2 era platforming games is just the challenges that I found impossible as a child are trivial for my adult self. And I don't know what if that says anything, or if that's just like the nature of growing and progressing as a player.
that's what I call a sun. Here, you can have this last sun seed as a souvenir. I think it might be a dud, though.
And before we leave, we gotta get all the gems that are in this area. Because of course we do. We are completionists after all. Make sure there's nothing. I guess if I had to comment on anything that we're doing right now, it's that something you'll notice with Spyro 3 a lot is that levels tend to be segmented a lot more than they used to be. Like, this is technically all one level, except, as you can see, there are these partitions in between areas in the level. There's literally a division between segments of the level. And I don't know how I feel about that, because it definitely does kind of... Oh, Egg Thief. You're back. Hey, Thief. Nice. Brian. You stole Brian, you bastard. And I understand that this is most likely these gates are either are for loading purposes, for PS1 era RAM purposes. But it definitely it's definitely I'm trying to find the words.
We usually wake up our rain cloud at the crack of dawn, but these mischievous spirits are stopping our bells from ringing.
Yeah, yeah, that's correct. In the chat, that's exactly what these gates were there for. It's because they're loading one section of it out of RAM and loading another section in because they didn't have the room for it. Because PS1 was a very, very finicky device, and you didn't have that much space. But it definitely speaks to. It definitely kind of makes the levels feel less continuous. Like, you feel these very discrete sections more than you ever did in the previous level designs in Spyro's 1 and 2. And again, this is something that they had to do if they wanted to put these levels in at all. Because they didn't have the space for it. It's just the way PS1 memory is set up, that you can't have all this loaded up like you can now in the modern day. Because right now, as you can see, this is mostly just here for preservation of what the original PS1 version had. What this does. Alright, I don't actually want to go all the way up. Just want to go over here. Oh, I made a mistake. See, I'm missing the eggs. I'm missing one egg. Glide to the island. Okay, that's that over there. I remember how to actually make that glide. And you also will notice that those little partitions, as you said in the chat, do tend to be where side quests are. side objectives and in little side activities that are gimmicky. Like a lot of the gimmicks have been partitioned away from the main level and into these little cordoned off sections of the map. So you have like this, which is just raw Spyro platforming, and on the side you'll have the challenge of, oh, let's do this Sunspot activity, or oh, let's do this Superfly activity. Or if you're using one of the other new characters, oh, we'll have this new character play in this world. Yeah, skateboarding is another example of that too, where the skateboarding is clearly cordoned off from the rest of the map. And that's the dual purpose of a loading screen, and so you don't have the ability to skateboard across the regular level. That's a dual purpose there for that portal. But it just makes the connection between each level feel a little more tenuous than it used to. It's not a bad thing per se, because like you can definitely you definitely feel the artificiality of the whole setup, which is not a bad thing, but also it's something that, like, if you're looking for the feeling of traversing these big worlds, you don't get that as much as you used to. I'm just kind of rambling. I don't know if I'm actually have a point to all of this. But as for this level, we are finished, so we can safely exit. I do like that they added in the remakes the ability to play around with Spyro in the loading screen. That's a little cute. It's cute. Spyro's a cutie. And before we proceed, I just want to point out that the characters that we've been helping are right here.
This is a balloon that will take you to a new land, but we can't use it until you bring back one person from each of the 5 worlds.
So, like, our mini objective in each level is to complete it so that we find some person from that world to help us lift up the balloon.
Do you like? Okay.
But now that we have 10 eggs, we can...
At last, my portal is working again. Come visit me at the teak.
We can open that portal and then go to the other level, because I have reason for why I wanted to do this one before the other one.
Yay! My portal is working. I'll see you at the beach.
And if you're a completionist, you probably know the reason. But we're making pretty good progress through this game. Moving at a decent clip. Levels in Spyro tend to be pretty short as a general trend. Even the ones towards the end of the game don't tend to be terribly long. Not as short as Crash levels, of course, because Crash levels are not lengthy in any sense of the word. But there's some
While I was gone, my friends borrowed the rhynocs submarine. Then they took it for a joyride. And then they smashed it into a big pile of rocks. Oddly enough, the rhynocs failed to see the humor in their actions and stuffed my friends in the jail cell behind you.
But Spyro levels tend to have just a fair length without extending their welcome. This is a dread underwater level, except in Spyro, underwater levels don't suck because you don't have a time limit. Spyro has the unique ability to be underwater for an indefinite length of time. He doesn't need to worry about this thing called oxygen because he's a video game character. I love how they give Sparks a little bubble in the underwater levels, so that's his justification for why he's not just like dying because he's an insect in the water. Yeah, Spyro can't breathe fire underwater, but rarely does he ever need to.
If you want a quick summary of your progress in a world, you...
Also, thankfully there are super flames that in levels you do need to do that. There is a way to do it. Breathe fire underwater. Which, if you watch the Spyro 2 playthrough where we played through in New Game Plus, you'll find that the super flame is very, very valuable in the water. Burn. Let's see what's under here before we proceed. Oh. I really like the New Game Plus in Spyro 2. It's such a fun idea, like the permanent super flame. And it really makes playing through the game again like a whole new experience. Probably why I like playing Spyro 2 as much as I do. Although like Spyro 1 is probably still my favorite of the three. There we go. Fools. Alright. We're kind of flying through this. And there are 6 legs in this world as well. Eat that barrel. No, I said, okay, just burn them. Burn, that's fine. Let's see. Let's get up here. I believe that's a Sheila portal over there.
You can hover to get more...
Yeah, it is. I agree. It's fun seeing all the fire animals give us life with bubbles and helmets to let them swim underwater in these levels. That's a cute little touch. Here's a Sheila level.
Oh, hi, Spyro. Some of my seal friends are trying to take down a rhynoc fortress. I'm about to go and lend a foot. I love the smell of singed rhynoc in the morning.
Rhynocs. Can Sheila swim? Yes, but she can't dive. And you gotta stomp these guys. There's a hidden cove. I knew it. Because with Sheila, the secret is always to kind of jump high to find the secrets, because that's almost always where they are. He went to Jared. I will never tire of making that joke whenever someone mentions Jared. Oh, picked too soon. This is an interesting challenge.
Hi, Sheila. The rhynocs have built a fortress on our beach, and we're going to blow it to smithereens. We just need you to take out all the turrets for us. We're lighting the bomb now, so just make sure to stomp all those turrets before the fuse runs out, okay?
Yes, because you wouldn't just light the bombs after I've smashed. I remember this one also giving me a lot of trouble when I was a kid, too. The timing tended to be pretty tight. Although you're doing pretty good progress. So yeah, first try. Nice.
Wow, I can't believe I survived that blast. It's a good thing I kept this egg nice and safe in my pocket.
Yeah, it is, because if it had been broken, you would have killed the dragon. Yeah, that was a lot of the challenges in Spyro 3. It's why this game, like, I talked about this in the last stream, but part of the reason I don't like this game as much as I like the first two games, I don't want to make clear this is a really good game. But the reason I'm not as fond of it as I am the first two is because there's just so many gimmicks, and so many of them are timed. In addition to that, where I'm not a huge fan of arbitrary time limits imposed upon me for missions. Like with that one, it was like, oh, it's a time limit because we said so, and we screwed up in figuring this out. So you can't just wait until you're done to blow up the fortress. I've never really been a fan of those kinds of those timing restrictions. And Spyro 3 relies on a lot of that, and on a lot of gimmicky stuff, a lot of stuff that feels like one-off content. And I just don't feel like that's as strong as some of the other things that are in the first two games. Though you're right in calling a trouble with the trolley in Spyro 2, because that is probably the one challenge. And I don't want to delude myself into saying that Spyro 2 didn't have that stuff, because it also did. And at least in 3, well, the other thing in the Spyro 2 that was just the one level, but in Spyro 3 as well, that's every level. Every level has this one weird gimmick section associated with it. And I remember a lot of those more than I do with platforming, and I remember them because a lot of them because I didn't like them a lot compared to the regular platforming of each level. We're about to do a couple of them here. And I don't think I liked any one of the ones, or either one of the ones we're about to do growing up. I think I kind of hated both of them. The skateboarding in this game is definitely one of the ones I liked a lot.
His nuclear shark submarine. If we win, we'll get the dragon egg he's guarding. If we lose, we'll have to spend a month doing kitchen patrol. What do you say? Do you want to... Okay, good luck. Just
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of this either. This is another one of those, yes, it's a gimmick. Yes, we're doing gimmicky stuff. And you will deal with it. It's just a boss battle.
talent. I hope this egg was worth all the trouble.
That was, kind of milquetoast. But I also remember that being kind of milquetoast in the original release, too. Just take a hit to save time. Actually, as you mentioned, yeah, I remember this being fairly tough as a child. I don't know if that has to do with the remake making it easier, or if I've gotten better at games since I was as a wee lad. That's a good question. I'm not entirely sure what the answer there is. I mean, there's also, like, we didn't give the shark a window to attack. We basically took one hit on the chin, and then the rest of it was just... it was dead by the time I got a second hit in. So, it's entirely possible there's a lot of attacks that Shark has, and I remember there being a lot of attacks that Shark has, but we didn't actually give him a chance to use any of them. There being a skill point in this game for taking out the funky chicken. I don't remember. I don't know how. I still know how to tell which chicken is the quote-unquote funky chicken. I just always know it's the one of the ones in this room. Getting some gems. Let's do this other challenge over here because we've got more gimmicks. I remember this skill point because the phrase funky chicken amused me growing up.
I used to have a dragon egg for you, but instead I used it to test our ultra-high-speed super fluidity tunnel. The good news is that it made it to the end of the tunnel without a scratch. The bad news is that the tunnel is chock full of rhynocs and floating mines. The only way to retrieve that egg
It's another one of those kind of arbitrary challenges.
in the tunnel.
And this is one of the ones that I don't particularly care for because it's really, really bad. Basically, I have to get through this entire challenge by KOing all of the rhynocs without hitting a single mine. And it is hard to control.
This egg has surprisingly good fluid dynamic characteristics. From now on, all of our submarines will be egg-shaped.
And it never is entirely clear how we get out of that tunnel when we're done. Just like we teleport out. Guess because Spyro is that strong a swimmer.
My plan worked. That dumb octopus dropped the jail key while he was shaking me. Now I can free my friends.
I like that as he's talking, there are bubbles coming out of his mouth. That's a cute little detail.
Oh, I forgot to tell you. One of the rhynocs had this egg in his lunchbox.
In his lunchbox. There are so many times where the prize was about to get eaten by someone before we got to it. Also note that in this level, and I think basically every level in this game, there is a shortcut that unlocks when you get the end level, so that if you want to go in and do the gimmicky stuff that you didn't do in your original run, you can always just use that shortcut to go back to the start of the level. And I am pretty sure every level in the game has it. As for us, though, I have to remember how to get these gems up here. Especially with the hovering in this game being a little finicky. There we go.
Never would have crashed that submarine if Sal hadn't tried a handbrake U-turn during an inverted barrel roll.
Oh, don't do that. If I say, you almost made me fall off by talking to me. How dare you? No, that's what other gems are you missing? Guide me, Sparks. Guide me. It is really handy to have this just available from the start of the game, as opposed to having to earn it. You aren't not pointing here, are you? What are you pointing to? The shield level? Are there gems missing in the shield level again? It's always her levels. Oh, you're not pointing to Sheila. What the hell are you pointing to, Sparks? Through the start again and see. Aha. Okay, so camera, please. Camera, please. Get out.
I can't wait until the...
Sparks, please. Sparks, please. Oh my. There we go. And now we are done this level, so we can move on to the last one of this world. Whew! That was a little frustrating. Oh yeah. I haven't forgotten about the shmup levels in this game. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Probably during this stream, we'll get to that, actually. At the rate we're going. So we gotta do one more stage, and the boss, and then the next homeworld, and then Sergeant Bird. We should have time for that. Might be able to go a little longer than usual, because I work from home tomorrow. Due to the outbreak. Yeah, let's go to this molten cave. there's a reason we're doing this last, and it's a very petty one that's personal to me. Me and me alone. And I'll get to it when I get to it.
Rhynocs are running rampant around here, but I can't get anyone out of the Tiki Lodge long enough to do anything about it.
Ah, yes. And the key for that chest. These little poacher-looking motherfuckers. Like an Indiana Jones adventure. This belongs in a museum. They even have whips. Oh, I completely spaced out for a second. Whoops. I just completely spaced out for a second there. That was my first death so far. That's one egg, another one that's just conveniently out there for us to collect because this game has 150 eggs to give us. I wonder why they felt compelled to make so many eggs when there were only 64 orbs in Spyro 2, only about 70 dragons in Spyro 1. Like, I don't know why they felt compelled to give us just 150 as a number.
Be sure to keep your friend Sparks the Dragonfly healthy.
Because, like, a lot of why this game is kind of frustrating is because there's just so many small, gimmicky challenges you have to do because they had to find a way to justify 150 eggs. As you can see, we're already almost basically done the level itself. Like, the actual just getting to the end of this level is not terribly difficult. I mean, it rarely ever is for Spyro, but this is a particular case where, like, this feels much shorter than most levels are.
Take this egg. They were giving them away at the Tiki Lodge last night.
Go down. Go down. Key is mine. Yeah. Now we've gotten the egg, we unlock the shortcut over here. Which is convenient because that lets us use the key on the chest here. We get like a paltry 10 gems out of it. Let's get this tenor. Oh, oops. here is a challenge for Sergeant Bird, who we don't have access to yet. In the PS1 version of the game, there was a way you could clip through this door and play the Sergeant Bird mission, even though he wasn't unlocked yet. I don't have that. I don't think that glitch is reproducible in this version. At least if it is, I'm not aware of it.
Spyro, you're just in time. I saw 2 egg thieves run through this door. Well, actually, they paid me to guard their hideout, but that's irrelevant. I'll happily let you through the gate to chase them down for a small finder's fee. Thank you, Spyro.
I do like that the responses to Moneybags are kind of annoyed that you have to pay. That's appreciated, because I also don't like Moneybags. Sure, they didn't realize that people don't want to pay while having him as a very obvious hate sink. As a greedy capitalist scumbag.
Are you the dragon looking for all those eggs? Because I saw a shifty-looking character with one over there.
This is a challenge where we can just do an egg thief chase. Nothing terribly complex. Hey, Moira.
Hey, there goes another one. He was really fast. Maybe if I activate the supercharge, you'll be able to catch him.
That's the idea. And so, let's supercharge. Try to catch this thief. Look at him sitting there. He's confident that we won't catch him. Kermit the Dragon. I think what we need a supercharge for is just that gem box. Now, the actual reason I don't like to do this level until last is because it bothers me that this gem total does not end in 0, 0. I like having all of the things in a level when I leave it. So the fact that I will not be able to get all of the gems in this world until I return with Sergeant Bird disincentivizes me from doing it immediately. I will almost definitely put off levels like this until the end so I don't have to see that ignoble total on my screen. Oh, there's gems over here that I missed. So I know there are gems in the Sergeant Bird section. And that I will not be able to get them until my return trip. What gemmies did I miss? Now, if I did everything right, then the only gems left should be in the Sergeant Bird level. Perfect. And that means we are as done as we can be, but we are not completely finished with this world. Oh yeah, head bash the rock. I should probably do that at some point too. Figure out what rock to head bash. But we still have a return trip to Sunny, to this area to do at some point, so we're not in a huge rush. Now we've gotten all 5 representatives from this world.
Let's head on over to the balloon.
They can bring the balloon down and we can use it.
The balloon's all ready, sir.
And move on to the next level. And that'll be our progression through the levels, is by completing each level, getting a representative from that level, and then using that to power the vehicle to the next level. The next home world. That's how we progress through this game.
Listen carefully, you stupid girl. I'm only going to ask you one more time. Why haven't you disposed of that infernal dragon?
I've tried to scare him off, Your Highness, but he's just not afraid of anything.
Not afraid? Not afraid? Why have I been training you all these years? Use some magic! Here's a spell book. Whip up a monster and eliminate him!
Kill him?
I don't care what you do, you useless brat, as long as you get rid of him!
Okay, let's see what we got here. This ought to do it.
You can't keep me caged up in here forever. You there, get me out of here. This is unacceptable.
You, come here.
I love how, because Sergeant Bird wasn't in the original version of this scene, it's like the equivalent of Sora in the Let It Go scene in Kingdom Hearts 3, where
What the devil?
all he can do is interject in ways that no one will react to. Also interesting that they definitely toned up Bianca's innocence in these scenes, and toned up the Sorceress's. Well, no, not kind of toned down the Sorceress, because in the original she was kind of over the top.
As fast as I could. No worries though. This wussy green toad will be no match for the two of us.
It's a pretty simple boss fight. You push him into lava, and then Sheila will whop him. Oh, whoops. Yeah, not a whole lot to do here, but just don't get hit. This is gonna get old. Yep, and go down. Stop running towards me. Stay down. This is not a very complicated boss fight. You know, for making a monster, this monster isn't very scary or dangerous. It's actually pretty. This is a pretty video game boss fight, actually. Oh, hey, sheepies. How? Okay, that didn't actually hurt me. How did that hurt me? There we go. We just killed someone. Yay! Murder! Oh. Self-defense. Now we can move into the next homeworld. Oh, look. That's cute concept art of the people we're supposed to meet in this level. That's cute. I like that. It's cool. No, get out of the blimp.
Okay, Dragon. You've managed to survive longer than I expected. But you haven't the slightest idea what sort of dangers lie ahead of you. I suggest you grab your cat friend and whatever eggs you found and hightail it back home while you still can. I'm telling you this for your own good, you know.
Sure. As soon as I find all the eggs and the gems, then we'll consider leaving. Oh, there you are. Dave. Where's Buster? Wow, my PS2 is screaming right now. Or my PS4 is screaming right now. Did not realize this game was so taxing on it. I feel like it should be that taxing. Maybe it's just getting a little warm.
Hey, Spyro! Zoe told me that if we hit that doodad up there, the portal will open. Why don't you try spitting this rock at it?
Sure.
When you picked up a... I'll see you in there later.
Yes, you will. But not right now. Right now we've got to do all the stuff in this hub world. And then when we're done, we can go back and finish up the previous hub world. Oh, we still need to do one. We still need to do the Sergeant Bird level here first. But that'll come in time. I do like that each hub world has its own theme in this game. Whereas in Spyro 1, they each kind of have the general serene. In Spyro 2, they each have the general serene theme, which is also good because I could listen to that music at the top of Autumn Plains for days. That's a good way to relax. But this game does a better job at making sure each hub world has its own like unique atmosphere. Whereas in Spyro 2, each hub world felt like, oh, this is a generic calming place just with a different seasonal theme to it. Which, you know, something to be said about that. It's just like different strokes, different flavors.
My good friend Spyro. The Sorceress caught this naughty bird letting off rockets in her fireworks factory, but I'm willing to release him into your custody, provided you pay his outstanding fines.
Sure.
What a sucker! That is, it's a far, far better thing you do today, Spyro, than you have ever done. And, well, so forth, etc. You get the idea.
Indeed.
Sergeant Bird, 90068. Awaiting orders, sir.
I think you'll have to find your commanding officer for that. Hey, what are those things?
These are the latest military hardware. BBX-9 rocket launchers, state of the art.
So why didn't you use them to escape?
Because I have limited ammo, and I wanted to conserve it for this. Say, where'd you
Always good to see moneybags get hit.
Had all been dead for 1,000 years or something.
Well, the rumors of our extinction were slightly exaggerated. We just wanted a little peace and quiet.
Well, if it's peace and quiet you want, you should stay clear of my homeworld for a bit. I reckon I'll be blowing up rhynocs for weeks. Cheerio!
And we'll get to that level in a second. First, we gotta wrap up things here in this homeworld.
If you see ladders or walls that look climbable, just jump onto them and you'll grab them with your claws.
I like how each hub world, this hub world is doing the dual purpose of training us to go through levels. Like, Hunter is teaching us to spit to unlock that level, and that level has a lot of using the rocks to spit and do damage. Whereas in that level, there's a lot of ladders you have to climb, and so they teach you how to do that before you even hit the level. It's a pretty clever little design choice. Can respect that. I'll be doing Bamboo Terrace last for the same reason we did the Tiki world last in the first world.
Hi, Spyro. This is a super flame power-up. You'll find more just like it scattered throughout all the worlds.
So, by destroying these planters, you'll get an egg. Pretty simple task. Where is the fourth one? There you are. Let's get some more gems. Never have too many gems in a Spyro game. Modesty. That's clever. I like it. This level we won't be able to get to for a while. 36 eggs. I think it's one of the fight levels. Oh, we didn't do the fight level in the in the other homeworld. Oh, that's my bad. I didn't even realize that we hadn't done that yet. Oh, whoops. Oh, well, we'll get that in a second. Yeah, we got an hour left, so we should have plenty of time to get a lot of miscellaneous tasks sorted out before we proceed in earnest with this level, with this world. So what's missing? Oh, is there like a gem over here that I didn't get? There we go. Now this level is complete. And now let's do the Sergeant Bird mission.
I have to train the hummingbirds. They must be in peak physical condition if we're going to take on the sorceress.
Sir, the situation is this. Yesterday, at 1845 hours, the rhynocs invaded. We defended as best we could, sir. But without your leadership, we couldn't put up an effective resistance. By 1900 hours, the rest of the squad was captured, and the rhynocs had complete control of the base.
A lot of people don't like Sergeant Bird. I do. I happen to really enjoy Sergeant Bird as his mechanics. I'm pretty sure I'm like the only one. It is kind of weird though that like a penguin sergeant is tasked with taking charge of a group of hummingbirds. Also, despite being a penguin, not only can Sergeant Bird fly, but he has unlimited flight. He can stay in the air as long as he wants. I'm pretty sure he's a penguin.
I recommend you take the enemy out with your rockets by pressing the attack button, sir.
Also, they added in this version of the game slight homing, or not slight, like a lot of homing to his missiles, which makes him even easier to use and a little more fun to use in this version of the game. Did not realize that those flowers have mouths.
Sir, I've captured the enemy rations. They won't march far on empty stomachs.
Enemy rations, again, because eggs.
Sir, the rhynocs had blocked the way out of this next cave with a security door, and I don't think you'll be able to blast your way through this one. I recommend you land on the weights and carry them to the pressure-sensitive security switches on either side of the door. When in position, press the charge button to drop the weight. Press the action button once to look down, and
let's start killing some of these guys before we start putting weights on switches. We got 2 weights to put on. It's a pretty basic level, control scheme wise. Now let's collect these gems. Oh, hi. We'll get to those moles later. Don't have the tools for them quite yet. Huh. Making steady progress.
keep fighting a good fight, sir. Mission accomplished. It's great to have you back, sir.
Ryan Lee, 2 words. And we might have finished this level, but we're not fully done yet. That's what I was looking for. With these, we can take care of these mole creatures. And any treasure chests that we see on our way. These bombs will be used to get a lot of the extras in this level. So, thankfully we have a steady supply of them. We got so many gems to pick up in this area. Good lord. More bombs. Down we go. secret entrance. With this we can see another hummingbird.
I'm ready to be debriefed, sir.
We got one more of these moles to kill over here. And a couple more in that area. That main area, the exit. Just like the one, like these tutorial levels with our character, the side characters are the only ones that don't have seem to have shortcuts. So our quests like this, we have to backtrack to kill things. It can be a little tedious. Oh god, is it not spawning in? That's great, that's just my luck. Well, we can. We'll have to get our treasures and then probably do a death abuse. Oh, he got hit.
Before I was captured, I recovered this egg from the enemy, sir.
And that is all 5 of the birds. Yep. Care makes this hard. Oh, were the moles the skill point? But that's fine. I don't care about skill points too much, but I do need a bomb for that gem box. Gotta get the remaining gems. forgot. Oh, thank God. Just no, where else are we missing gems from? There we go. And now we can finish this level and backtrack to the previous homeworld. To wrap up the couple of things over there. That is there, can we teleport? Okay, can we just fast travel? Great, that's actually what I want. Loading screens are tough. Give me the rock out the head bash. Yep. And there's the last egg here. That's taken care of. Now we have to come back here. To Molten Crater. To enter the Tiki Lodge. And complete the last eggs and gems in this level. Thankfully the shortcut here is open, so we don't have to worry about doing the actual level itself. We can just skip on right over to the part we actually want to do. Oh, no cutscene.
Game of hide and seek with my friends. If I can't find where they've hidden their heads, they won't let me join the Tiki Lodge. Help me put them back together, and I'll make you an honorary member.
Perfect. It's a pretty simple task. All we gotta do is just find the 5 heads and put them on the 5 bodies. And get this hidden egg over here. So it should also be where the remaining gems for this level are. Camera, please cooperate with me. Now there are several nooks and crannies, and there's pretty much a head in each one of them. So this isn't a difficult challenge to intuit. And if we get hit, the head will drop. So we don't want that. There's also a skill point for assembling all the heads without putting them on any bodies, but nah, Not important. I already had the skill points in other save files, so I have no reason to try and do them here. Now these birds swirling around, important to note is that they don't hurt you, but they will hit you and make you drop the head. Whereas these flames here will just straight up hurt you. Few more gems left. Drop that. This. That's all the gems. And here is the last head.
Take this egg as a sign of your honorary membership to the lodge.
And that completes the Molten Crater level.
Well, that's never happened before, I hope.
Which means we can get out of here and complete a couple of last minute tasks in this world. Now, I've mentioned before that Spyro 3 is a game of gimmicks. And I can think of no better way
only Sparks will be able to reach it. There's a small hole
to describe what I'm about to do
I can take him there if he's ready.
than gimmick. This level only unlocks once you beat the boss that we beat earlier, Spike. In between morning vista, this morning level and the midday level that we just moved to. You notice that where the seasons were the theme in Spyro 2, the times of day are the themes here in Spyro 3. Morning to midday to sunset and evening. But because we beat the boss for this homeworld, we've unlocked this section where we play as Sparks.
Sparks. Before you take on those nasty crawdads, I should give you some help. To start, let's practice shooting. Press the attack button to shoot these targets.
And this is literally just a shmup section.
You can also move quickly by pressing the charge button, like Spyro. Use your charge to chase down this fast enemy. Now for the hard part. Being a maneuverable dragonfly, you can also strafe in any direction. To strafe, hold down the roll left or...
And this lets us do this.
On your travels, you'll notice butterflies that give you help, just like in the dragon world. Not only that, but some butterflies will give you special powers, though only for a short time. Just eat.
Yep, and just like in a regular shmup. This will give us powers. Like alternative shots. That will make our level easier.
Looks like you're ready, Sparks. If you need any more guidance, just choose the controls option from the pause menu.
Now I can play this level for real. This is a... Honestly, it's hard to describe, to feel how I should feel about this level, or to know how I should feel about this level. Because it's... It is another in the many gimmicks of Spyro 3, and out of all of the gimmicks, this is probably one of the worst ones. So I won't be able to break that open yet. I need this side of the red key, and the red key opens the red door. The red door. All doesn't feel great to control, if I'm being honest. And the red door gives me the green key. Ooh. Green key opens the green door. I get the yellow key now. Yellow key opens the yellow door. Which A drops the shields, and B unlocks the blue key for the blue door. There we go, now we're strafing correctly. Oh, this level kind of sucks. This should be it. Yep. gems are right here. And that was certainly a level. But we did it. And now we can do the speedway for this world too. Ooh. Yeah, those levels really aren't particularly interesting. There's not a whole lot to say about them other than that, like,
Nice work, Sparks. You've beaten the crawdad
they
king
really
and
stand
found the
out.
lost egg. Not only
And each time you beat them, Sparks gains a power, and none of them are particularly useful, but they're all like, oh, that's nice. Like, we just got the ability to pick up gems from further away, it was like, oh, that's nice, but really wasn't like a game-changing prospect. Time attack or race the butterflies? Let's get the race over with first. Basically, you just gotta fly through all the rings and beat the butterflies of the race. This should ideally be a simple challenge. Just gotta make sure that we are on schedule. And you can flame the butterflies to get a little extra, like to slow them down a little bit, but it's not something that you necessarily have to do. What I'm trying to mostly do is just get every speed star I can to pull myself a little further ahead. These guys pretty much go through basic AI routines. As long as I'm sticking to the corners and choosing the speed and taking the speed stars to get the maximum speed, should be mostly fine. Well, that first guy is pretty far ahead. These races were never fun, so I wanted to just do it first to get it over with. And hopefully we get to overtake this guy soon. I don't want to have to redo this challenge multiple times. And yeah, last minute, but we got first place, which means we get the egg for this challenge. Yeah. You'll notice the time attack also works differently than the other previous games. In oh, maybe it does work the same, because in the original version of the game, you would get the gems as you completed tasks, and if you got all in one, if you got all in one, you get the egg. Unlike in previous games where you get the gems for completing each task and the different gem bonus for getting all in one. Looks like they reverted to the other model for speedways here, which makes sense. It really doesn't matter. It's kind of arbitrary, but you also notice the speedways here are a little are way more in linear than they were in the previous Spyro games. Like this is pretty much just one after the other in pretty short succession. And as long as you're like not slowing down, it's pretty easy to get them all. Just glad I don't have to repeat this. And we have one more challenge left, because just like in Spyro 2, beating the time attack unlocks another challenge. Now, one of these mushrooms has Hunter hiding in it. And we're going to need to find that one to unlock his challenge. There it is.
Whoa! A bunch of sheep and flying saucers just came out of nowhere and started blasting up the race course.
If you remember Metropolis from Spyro 2, there was a bunch of cow and pig invaders with flying saucers.
Looks like I'll have to hop in my plane and teach him some manners.
There's this weird through line. In the speedways of Hunter having to deal with these UFOs with farm animals.
Whoa! Looks like look out!
And that is a sound that I don't ever want to hear again. Gonna have to do this even if I don't like another gimmick that I don't like. Oh boy, that's gonna be a running gag for this whole Let's Play, isn't it?
Looks like look out!
Also, it really doesn't help that this plane is fragile and will die to a single hit. This challenge sucks.
Whoa! Looks like look out!
This challenge sucks. Why weren't my guns hitting it?
Whoa, looks like look out!
There's gotta be something above them. You're gonna be a pain in the ass to get, aren't you? Aren't you, buddy? There we go.
Woohoo! Check it out. The squad leader had abducted this egg.
Tater. Well, we're done here. That was a speedway. And we're about to go through a second one because it seems like a pretty fast level, fast enough to do in 15 minutes for the stream. Phew. And we're off to the races. We'll go to Midday Gardens. And the through line of hunter versus farm aliens shall continue. I am curious what originated that running gag, because there's nothing in that inherently links to like cheetahs or hunting to farm animals. Could just be like they had. I wonder if it's just because they had the models available from Spyro 2. That could also end up being the actual reason, because you notice there's a lot of asset reuse in this game, which, considering they had a year to make it, it's no wonder. I don't blame them. Country Speedway. Let's race the planes. I don't like listening to Sparks mumble. Now they add these spits to the challenge, and they allow you to essentially shoot down or shoot enemy planes to slow them down a little bit. This is going to be a hard challenge. You're already making progress. Oh, okay. I just missed a ring. I didn't think it was possible to miss that ring, but I guess I was wrong. I'm going to take my corners tight. We should be fine. Be a tough race. Just gotta keep this pace going. Try to pass 2 more people. Camera's kind of sucky. I didn't get the speed power up, that sucks. I missed that one too. Damn. Can't keep doing that if I want to win. These races are very precise. worth doing season first. Every time I can get him a little hurt, it's good for me. We should be able to keep this pace and win. There. I don't like the races. And there are 4 of them throughout the game. Oh, like Dr. Shemp from Spyro 1. Let's do the time attack. Do, 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 do. There we go. Taking out laborers. Because we are bougie, sadly. And now it's time to take out the planes. Last challenge. They definitely make these speedways a lot easier in Spyro 3 than they ever did. I mean, I'm cutting it close, but I'm also like, it's also like all lined up. I'm not really trying for the time. I'm trying just to do it. And that'll give me the egg. Hey, Gavin. Now I've got to find where Hunter is in this level to do his challenge. Pretty sure he's in this big barn over here. Yep. Here you are.
Spyro! You're not gonna believe this, but there are sheep saucers and space cows all over this place. We gotta stop them before they abduct somebody. I'm gonna strap on my jetpack and blast some space cows.
Hey! A new gimmick!
Cows, you...
Basically, this is a scrolling shooter where I have to take out all of the space cows and space pigs before they abduct anybody from the farm. Continuing with the invading farm animal aliens theme. This should hopefully not be terribly tough. I really don't want to have to redo this. I missed one.
Spyro! I'm gonna... Look out!
I don't like this reticule. It makes it hard to figure out where you're actually shooting. Like this, that's a wide space. I could definitely use a more precise reticule for where I'm actually aiming. Holy crap. God damn it, shoot, thank you! Yeah, it's really hard to aim with this wide fucking open circle. I am also very certain this thing is lying to me. There we go.
Got the last one just before he abducted this egg.
Roberto. And we are done here. Two speedways done, one stream. Whew. Just really wish they'd focus more on the core platforming in this game, because that's the stuff I actually really want to play. But don't really have time to start another level, so I think we're going to wrap up here. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will hopefully see you on Wednesday, which we may stream more Magic, or I may find something else to do. Who knows? We'll find out. But on Sunday, hopefully, assuming I'm not on call, and I don't think I am, we'll continue more Spyro. So until then, have a great day, and see you when I see you.